Hi, everyone. In this video, I want to give a longer explanation for Skills Lab number 2. So if you feel like you're a little confused or a little bit unsure, this is the right video for you. This is the second lab, and we're going to be focusing on are the communication skills that were covered in chapters 10 or 11. And basically, you and the client, your classmate, are going to decide whether the client will be um, uh, facing a difficult issue that needs to be confronted, or that the client is angry and um, resistant, kind of a difficult client to work with. So it's up to you completely in regards to which option you choose. But hopefully, think about the client, like the other student who's playing the client. What do they feel more comfortable with? That should be a factor. But also, of course, have a conversation about you as a caseworker. What do you feel more comfortable with? I encourage you actually to try out the option that maybe is going to stretch you a little bit. That's okay. But of course, it is completely up to you. So um, let's see here. So then the option one, the client is really going to be engaged in some behavior that the caseworker is going to need to use an iMessage to address. So that iMessage is the focal point of the interaction. But I don't want you to just jump in and give the iMessage and be done with it. No, it's 7 to 12 minutes. So you need to fill in that time. And what I encourage you to do is connect with them, use empathic reflections and reflections of content before, and then reflections of content and feelings after using the iMessage. So you want to sort of sandwich it with relationship building or relationship maintenance so that the person feels heard and understood. The option two, it's going to be you will want to walk through the 4 steps of disarming anger. So appreciating what they're bringing up, asking questions, finding common ground, and I forget the fourth one, but you want to also just make sure that you're, maintaining a relationship and ideally disarming the anger. Now, I have here that I don't want the client to portray the most difficult client, right? That's going to be kind of difficult to work with. You're learning, so I want it to be sort of a moderate level, so that the client might come down a little bit, right? Maybe starting off angry, but they do come down, they do adjust with the interaction, right? I don't want any escalation in the interchange. So don't give your partner too much of a hard time if you're the client. So let's see here. Then the second part is to, of course, do the self-evaluation. So first off, I want you to just give an overview of the interview. What happened? What kind of session was this? So was it a difficult issue or was it disarming anger? All right. Then summarize the content of the session. What were you addressing, or what was a client angry about? So, okay, this is actually, what, uh, right? If I don't watch the whole video, help me know what's happening. Then, if it was bringing up a difficult issue, identify the iMessage and write it verbatim, word for word. What did you say in your iMessage? There should be an iMessage, so you will want to make sure that you do that. So write it. And if it was a disarming of anger, uh, I mean, there's obviously 4 steps. So I'm going to ask you to identify the first step, which is showing appreciation to the client, and write it verbatim. Again, that just means word for word. So then point B, identify strengths of your communication. Identify one time that you responded to feelings or content appropriately. Write your response verbatim, why you think it was appropriate, okay? Just kind of say, I think that the client needed to know that I was tracking what they were feeling, or I think the client needed to know that I was tracking what they were saying in terms of the content. And then Um, Identify an open-ended question that you asked. Write it verbatim. Just kind of explain why you think it was appropriate. Well, and generally that will be because it furthered the conversation. That's the idea of an open-ended question, is that it furthers the conversation as opposed to shutting it down. Then identify one other positive interaction, anything that you may not need to label it, just say, it just felt right. Explain why you believe the interaction was positive. Next, identify areas for growth. Identify an interaction that didn't seem to go well. Write your words verbatim. Why do you think it was not as helpful? Identify a closed question that you asked during the interaction. So write your question verbatim, how you might have responded effectively. And then point D, ask for your partner's feedback, specific moments that were positive, any that were less helpful, report what your partner said about the interaction. And then finally, um, share any further thoughts you have about the interaction. What kind of countertransference experience did you have? Did did this is a chance for you to be reflective. It can go in a lot of different directions, but if you say, "Oh, I thought of my uncle when they were responding this way," share that. This is your chance to work through some of the things that might come up for you. So, okay. So hopefully that explains it a little bit better if you bothered to watch this video. And good luck. I know it's going to be a, a challenging session, but hopefully a kind of a fun one. I always find working with difficult clients are a chance for me to kind of showcase my skill set, which so I actually feel like challenging clients are some of my favorite. So hopefully you feel the same way. All right, good luck.